Okay. Welcome everybody to today's meeting. All right. To officially start the meeting, I want to note that this meeting will be recorded and shared amongst members for study and self-reflection. Some parts may also be used in promotional material later. In order to have a smooth meeting, here are some ground rules. Put yourself on mute when not speaking. Don't interrupt while someone is speaking. Be attentive throughout the meeting and support the speakers with your warm jazz hands. I'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance. If we have the flag or.
Right here.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody, for coming to today's meeting. Everyone that made it, I'd like to bring up our grammarian, Miss Anna Zhang.
I think the camera is not positioned correctly, so I will sit down and introduce my roles and responsibilities. As a grammarian, I will listen carefully to everybody's speeches. We have 2 prepared speeches, and we'll have table topic sessions and evaluations. So I will listen carefully to your speeches and pay attention to the words, the use of the words. Notice those filler words such as us and us, and so. I would also introduce the word of the day, and that is adorate. Adorate is a formal word that means resistant to persuasion. It is usually used to describe someone who is stubborn or not willing to change their opinion or the way they do something. The example sentence is, we all admire his obdurate refusal to give up on his goal despite the many challenges he faced. So let me say that again. Obdurate. Okay, I think I got it now. I think for most of my life, I have been obdurate, but thanks to my children, I'm getting better.
Everyone, I apologize for being late. I would now like to call on our timer for today, Gavel Xavier Taylor, to state his role.
All right. Thank you for the introduction. As timer, I time each portion of the speech. For our speeches, which will be 5 to 7 or 4 to 6 for Miss Emily, and 6 to 8 for Mr. Don Gray. At 4 minutes, my light will turn green. At 5, it will turn yellow, and at 6, it will turn red. Next up, for our second speaker, we have Mr. Don Gray, 6 to 8 minutes. At 6, green, 7 yellow, and 8 red. For our table topics, we have 1 to 2 minutes per table topics answer. At 1 minute, it will turn green. 1.5 minutes, yellow. 2 minutes, red. And evaluations will be 2 to 3 minutes.
One point, Xavier, if you will, when you go through your backgrounds, right? If you will try and drop something in front of the camera, like bend a sheet of paper, and let's see if that gives you a full green screen. If you can. Perfect.
Thank you for stating your roles. I would now like to call on the first evaluator, Ms. Tony Britnam, to introduce our first speaker.
Great, thank you very much. Emily, as your evaluator today, I will be looking for what I hear, what I see, and what I feel from your presentation. Emily's presentation is 4 to 6 minutes. It's all about her. So I would like to please welcome with jazz hands and a warm smile to the virtual lectern, Toastmaster Gavel, Emily.
So I think this speech is supposed to be about many different aspects of my life. but instead I chose to talk about something like one specific thing that I feel like has a really big impact on multiple different aspects of my life. So to start off, something that you already know about me. Hi, my name is Emily Wei, and I'm currently in the 11th grade going to White Station High School. And something that you probably don't know about me is that I have eczema. So, I don't know if any of you've noticed. I know Peter definitely has. He's not here, but we went to a summer camp together, and he asked me about like why I always wore long sleeves and long pants, and that is because of my eczema and my insecurity around it. One thing about me is that I'm very into fashion. I try to dress very fashion forward. I know it might not look like it right now. This is a very lazy outfit, but I usually do try to dress well. And my eczema really has limited that so much for me. I can't wear short sleeves, shorts. I know I like it's not that I can't, but just my insecurity around it kind of just keeps me away from them because I don't really want to like, just show it off, I guess. So that's one thing about me, and my eczema really limits that. And that's just like one small aspect of my life. Another thing is that it has limited my social life, which is a lot more serious. It's not as bad now, but I often go out with my friends. I like hanging out with them. And when I was younger, maybe like a few years ago or even last year, I would make a lot of plans with my friends and then end up canceling because of my eczema. So it would be so uncomfortable that I wouldn't want to go out, and it would physically hurt to put on clothes just because of like how much of it was there. And so I wouldn't go out. I would just stay home and cancel on my friends. And that was really bad. Like I said earlier, it's not as bad now because my eczema really has gotten so much better. So I do go out with my friends a lot now. Another thing that has been affected by my eczema is my sleep schedule, which has really affected me in a lot of different ways. Because essentially my whole life like revolves around my sleep schedule. I had to start sleeping really late because of just staying up because of my eczema. It was so uncomfortable. I would just sit there thinking about how much I wanted to get rid of it. And it was so uncomfortable. And, I would just lose sleep because of it. And I would stay up super, super late. I would waste time thinking about it. So I wouldn't have time to do my homework until it was like, past 12. So I would stay up super late doing homework because of my eczema. And that affected my academics as well. So I would be super tired when I went to school since I have to wake up at like 6 every day. And if I slept super late, I would barely get any sleep and I would end up falling asleep in class. So then I couldn't focus as well because I wasn't learning. And then I would have to go home and stay up even later to study all the things that I missed out in class because I slept. So that also really affected me. So just so many different aspects of my life have been kind of ruined by my eczema. And it is a growing process. I started to see a dermatologist for it not that long ago. She prescribed me with a bunch of like different medicines for it. I've been trying to stay on them, but it's kind of hard because like I said, I am really busy. I don't get a lot of sleep. So by the time I finish my homework, I just go directly to sleep. A lot of time I don't stay on my medication because I'm just so busy and I just go directly to sleep. And that hasn't really helped me a lot, but I do have steroids that do help a lot more than the regular medication that I stay on. So that helps me. And yeah, so it has been getting better over the months, and I know that it will in the future as well. So it is a growing process. Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful speech about yourself, Emily. I would now like to call on the second evaluator, Toastmaster Horace Taylor, to introduce our second speaker.
Our next speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Donald Gray, is no stranger to our club. He's been with us from the beginning, a long beginning. Just to let you know a few little small things about him right quick. I believe he joined Toastmasters in 2016, and only a few years later, in 2022, he earned a Distinguished Toastmasters recognition or medal. He's been a past area director and a past division director, and he has 3 clubs that he's a member of. I believe his home club is Orange Mountain Toastmasters Club. He's a member of Memphis Advanced Toastmasters Club and the Saline County, Arkansas Toastmasters Club. His speech today is titled, "Can I Evaluate You?" Can I evaluate you? It's a speech from 6 to 8 minutes. And please, Cavaliers, sit back, relax, as we watch and listen as distinguished Toastmaster Donald Gray wow our minds.
Wow. Thank you, Toastmaster Distinguished Horace Taylor, for your introduction. Today, I will explain how we, as seasoned Toastmasters, are trained to complete an evaluation. My speech today, can I evaluate you? Can I give you an honest and fair evaluation while remaining positive? My answer to these questions would be yes. I remember when I first became a Toastmaster, I was eager to learn, but afraid to serve in club roles, especially the speech evaluator. I was new and inexperienced. Nevertheless, our club members were evaluating my speeches, and the feedback I was receiving was valuable. I needed improvement, and my evaluators were fearless in telling me where I needed improvement. They motivated me to work on my speaking and listening skills. So I did. And today, I take advantage of every opportunity to evaluate another speaker. I try not to let my personal opinion enter my evaluation. You may not know, but evaluations are the heart of the Toastmasters educational program. An evaluator is a person who assesses the amount, extent, and value of something. Taking on this role as speech evaluator improves your active listening skills, your critical thinking, and positive feedback skill. Why do we evaluate? We evaluate to motivate and train. We observe our fellow club members' speeches and leadership roles and offer evaluation for their efforts. An evaluator, whenever possible, ask the member you are to evaluate what they're speaking about and what they are trying to achieve. You should provide objective, verbal, and written evaluations. When giving an evaluation, offer praise and constructive criticism. For many, the most valuable aspect of Toastmasters is the evaluation. It tells you if you're learning and where you're weak. In successful clubs, members support each other by encouraging each other to continue writing and speaking. And that's exactly what we have to do to learn. The more speaking opportunities you have, the faster you will grow. Members who receive thoughtful evaluation feel heard and become motivated to improve. When giving an evaluation, you should approach each speech with honesty while remaining positive. You should pay attention to the speaker's goals for self-improvement. You should evaluate the speaker and what the speaker does, and not the speaker or who the speaker is. Report what you see, hear, and feel as the members speak. And remember, delivering an evaluation is also an excellent way for you to practice and demonstrate your speaking skill. There are 5 points to remember. Before the speech, you should review the evaluation guideline for the particular project and contact the speaker to discuss that speaker's objective for their speech. Then address any concern that they may have. Number 2, you should personalize your language. Before giving your evaluation, put yourself in the position of that speaker. For example, use I phrases such as you didn't, you should have, and you failed to. Number 3, encourage improvement. Use words like, I believe you could have. My reaction was, I suggest that. Number 4, evaluate the speaker, not the speech. Always keep your primary purpose to support, help, and encourage the speaker. Do not assess the speaker's personal qualities. Only assess the action related to the speaker. You should, number 5, promote self-esteem, motivate, and inspire the speaker to deliver another speech by giving sincere praises and constructive suggestions for what they can improve on. And always end your evaluation with positive feedback. As Toastmasters, we are always trained to use an individual evaluation form. You should be able to see it as I share screen. I always use this form when I do an evaluation. It is a generic evaluation form which is provided by Toastmasters International. This form will keep you on track while you're evaluating a speaker and not just the speech. There are 7 criteria that we look for. We look for clarity, vocal variety, eye contact, gestures, audience awareness, comfort level, interest, and some evaluation forms would throw in an extra item such as what that speech is related to. These are the criteria that you would use to explain what the speaker has excelled at or what the speaker is weak at. In this section, it explains what those criteria mean. It will tell you what to look for. So I ask you today, can you evaluate me? I'm sure I can evaluate you. Why can I evaluate you? Because I practice, and practice makes perfect. The more you volunteer to be an evaluator, the quicker you will grow, and it will begin to show. I now have the confidence that I need to evaluate each of you when called upon to do so. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you for that speech, teaching us all about evaluations. I would now like to call on our table topics master for today.
So we have 2 volunteers and they will do this together. Maybe take turns.
What is your favorite movie that taught like a life lesson? And that question goes to Xavier.
What is my favorite movie that has taught a life lesson? I'm not sure. There's not many movies that I have watched that I think I've learned a valuable life lesson from. However, there's this one movie by the name of, I can't remember the name of the movie right now. It was a slave movie where one of the slaves was getting taught by the master's wife how to read and write. And the master found out and beat the slave. The slave had enough, and he gathered some more slaves, started an uprising, and they killed some of the masters in that area. Now, I don't think this is necessarily the best choice I could have said, but if you're getting treated unjustly and things shouldn't change and things won't change, you should take action or initiative yourself. Thank you for the question.
What is one value that you hold abdurately and you wouldn't want to give that value away? And would Tony like to answer it?
I'm sorry, my laptop is acting up on me again. Repeat the question, please.
What is the value that you hold that you wouldn't want to give up?
A value that I hold that I wouldn't want to give up. It would have to be some call it assertiveness, some call it aggressiveness, but I call it just an inquisitive, needing to know person. I read one time where it says you should ask enough questions where there will be no doubt. Now, some people say that's a nosy person, but I wouldn't want to give that up because to me, to question is a sign of intelligence. How else will you know? And I would dare not tell my children, don't ask so many questions. That means that I didn't know the answer or didn't know how to look up the answer. But that inquisitiveness or that nosiness or whatever you want to label it as, I would not want to give that up. That's the one thing that keeps me going, questioning who, what, when, where, how. I think those are pertinent questions that need to be asked at all times. You should know your environment. You should learn how to read people, places, and things, situations. But if you don't ask enough questions, you'll never get there. So that's the one thing value that I hold that I'm not going to give up because it works for me. Thanks for the question.
Again, on the topic of values, what is one lesson or value that you learned from a child as a child and you have never forgotten? I think I'll give that to Mr. Eric Tree.
Mr. Puppet Master, fellow Gaveliers, fellow Toastmasters, thank you for that quiz. One value of one thing I learned as a child that I will never forget. I grew up in a very unique family. And my father passed away 44 years ago tonight. It was the business and in general, people. My dad was a people person. And he could build relationships better than anyone I know. And those are some of the things I learned in my youth, in my early childhood that I will never forget. And the lessons I've learned in Toastmasters. There are things that we learn every day. And each Toastmaster meeting I attend, I learn something. One thing, and I've learned something today. Toastmaster Don Gray has given me a new perspective on how to do a speech, on how to evaluate. So I would say one thing I've learned was from my dad that I will never forget. Mr. Master.
You, Mr. Eric. My next topic is how was your week and what do you look forward to in the following week? And I'll give that to Miss Anna.
You, Mr. People Talk Master, for that question. How was my week looking and what do I look forward to next week? Every week is unique and you all probably know me. I'm busy. I always have something going on. But some of the exciting thing that happened last week is that we're going to have a district Postmaster District 43 conference happening in April. And that conference is going to be held in Mississippi, Tupelo, Mississippi. They're going to have a booklet. And I decided to have an ad about our Gavel Club in that booklet. So our whole district will know about our Gavel Club because I remember just recently, one of the parents, she approached me, she asked me, do I know some program? And I said, yeah, I'm the club sponsor of this Gavel Club, which is a Toastmasters club for youth. And she said, wow, I have asked around, I have asked the Toastmaster this, Toastmaster that. They all don't know we have this Gavel Club. And I didn't know you were involved in the Toastmasters Club. I don't know you are even a club sponsor of this Gavel Club. She's one of my closest friends. I didn't tell you, my bad, but it just occurred to me. A lot of people want to know about this club, but they just didn't know because we didn't go out and tell them. So next week, I'm gonna put this poster ready. Hopefully, our Miss Poster, Emily can help me with that. So we can have this ad put in the booklet. Thank you very much.
My question is, what do you look for in a college? And if you do have a dream college, why do you want to go there? And that is for Matthew.
What do I look for in a college? The main thing I look for is a program that I can thrive in, and it's a program, well, also a program, a major in a field of study that I want to go into, and also a field of study in a program that can benefit me. And this way I can have something to focus on while in college. While college is something I can have fun and explore new things. It is mainly about starting my career. And you may or may not know, I am already committed to the University of, and that was actually my first choice. So I would just tell you about why I want to go to Pittsburgh, I guess. So I like Pittsburgh because they have a good PT program, and I want to go into physical therapy. And also, I really love the city. The city is beautiful, and I think the city just resembles my character and what I want to be in life. And that's what I see or want to find inside of college. Back to you, table topics, master.
What would be your ideal dream car and what features would it have? And Horace Taylor.
Thank you for the question. What would be my ideal car or dream car, and what features would it have? Okay, I just thought about it. My ideal car, I think, is a car that I fell for many, many moons ago. Back then, it was called an Audi 80. It was, to me, the best car in the world. Only because, well, for a number of reasons, but in particular, because I could not afford that car. But it would have been the very first car that I would have purchased brand new. But I did not buy this car. I always dreamt or dreamed of owning or having an Audi 80. I don't know why, but it's probably because as a young soldier at the time, I was stationed in Germany for about the 4 years, the very first time I left the United States. And there, not far from where I lived, was the Grand Prix, a racetrack where all the fast cars would show up once a year, and all everybody talked about was the Audi series fast cars. So I want one so badly, but I never got one. And the features, the only feature that Audi would have needed would to have been me sitting in the driver's seat with my hands on the steering wheel, with my feet on the accelerator, the clutch, and the gas pedal, and I'm sticking it and driving as fast as that little car can go. That would have been my ideal dream car, an Audi 80 back in 1885-ish. Back to you, Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you, Mr. Horace Taylor. Our next topic will be what place makes you the most comfortable and why? And I'll give that to Tim.
Could you repeat the question, please?
What place would make you feel the most comfortable and why?
Oh, okay, thank you. For me, I would say, I guess maybe a lot of people might say this, but I'm just gonna go with the most original, or not even original, the most common answer, but I'd say home is the most comfortable. It's the place I've been most of my life. I mean, I've been here for 14 years now, since I was born here, lived here for all this time. So like it is your home. I mean, it's a place where you're born, your family is, it's a place where all your friends are around you. I guess the second place I would say would be most comfortable might actually be school, although I do kind of not like it, but that's where all my friends are, and that's where I usually am able to have a lot of fun with my friends and talk to them, even though you have to study and all that. But I guess that's just part of life. You have to study and learn and everything. But I say home is the most comfortable because, of course, that's where your family is. Also, my bed is at my house. And of course, that's also the most comfortable place in my house. Being able to sleep and wake up in your house is just a wonderful feeling. And I just say that being in your home is just the most comfortable place. Thank you.
My next question is, what is your favorite event in the Olympics and why? And I would like to give that to Toastmaster Don Gray.
Thank you for that question. I myself like the gymnastic. I like the way the young people get up on I don't know what you call it, they flip and flip and flip. And to see them go high and land flat on their feet and put their hands up and accomplish that, to me is something I just enjoy seeing, something I wish I could do, but I cannot. So I'm not jealous. I just enjoy watching the young people do that. It's gymnastic. And they just mesmerize me to walk on that little pole. And it's probably about 3 inches, 2 inches wide. And they just jump up, land on it. And then the part about flipping, when they go across the floor on the mat, they go high and they flip. I mean, to me, that's fun to watch. And I wish I had a daughter that could do something like that. However, I don't, but I do enjoy gymnastics. I thank you for that question.
I would now like to pass control to our general evaluator for today, Matthew Shee, for our evaluation session.
Thank you, everybody, for that table topics session. And now I would like to call upon Horace Taylor for our first evaluate. Actually, I would like to call upon Tony Brittenham for our first evaluation of Emily. Yeah, so Tony Brittenham.
Okay, thank you so much for allowing me to all my fellow Gaveliers and Toastmasters, and especially to Emily. Emily, your level of confidence with this eczema is surprising to me. I have a number of family members and friends who suffered with eczema, and it was all different reasons. It seems was amazing to me. Even though you wore long sleeves, which you kind of held your arm on one, so your gestures could be improved a little bit. But overall, let me tell you that your content kept me intrigued because I was waiting to hear if you had found causes for yours. It limited your social activities. That bothered me a little bit because as a young person, you should be able to enjoy all of your social activities. So I used to deal with a lot of herbs. In fact, I sold them in my bookstore for a long time. And a lot of them, even with one of my friends or colleagues, had AIDS. And I called Dick Gregory And Dick Gregory told me to check my oldest son had AIDS. He told me that anything will run its course in 3 days for me to go and buy these 60 herbs. And I spent $1,000, even though I didn't have to spend but 200, but I was panicking. So the first set of herbs goes in and breaks up all the infection and inflammation. The second set of herbs on the second day sends them out. And the third set of herbs start to rebuild the immune system. And that's where I think the problem is with the immune system. I don't know what your situation is, but in your next presentation, I would like for you to, and I'm going to do it too, research the cause and some remedies for eczema, because you should not have to suffer with that all of your life. But nevertheless, you anchored your speech 3 times. Your whole subject matter was on eczema. And normally, the title of your speech is given at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. That keeps us in tune with your subject. Now, your intonation, your animation could be improved, but your enunciation, your pronunciation of words, using your lips, tongue, and mouth, lips, tongue, and teeth, and your ability to pronounce your syllables and the consonants was just on point. So I really like that, especially in young adults. Your vocal variety was good. I understood the transitions as you moved about, which was good. And this is a subject content was something that everyone can learn something from, or at least provoke enough concern to start to look up some things. So the next time I want you to have some type of prop or some type of reference that we can use from your presentation to help further the research, so we can all have an intelligent conversation about it. There are not many challenges because your vocal variety, your pitch, and your pace were excellent. There was just no fear in your voice of public speaking. You didn't seem like a novice, even though I know you just came to the Gavaliers. You did not appear to be a novice to me. The confidence that you have is what's going to take you further, and it won't be long before eczema will not be a subject that you bring up at all. And I'm going to help you with that. So I appreciate you sharing that, and that most people won't. They will do like you did and cover it up and not say a word. We wouldn't know if you didn't tell us. But since you did make us aware, I'm going to personally do what I can to pass the information on that will help eliminate that totally, because nothing is permanent. All things are temporary. But great job. Thank you so much. And thank you all for allowing me to be her evaluator today. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Tony, for that evaluation for Emily. And now I would like to call upon Horace Taylor for his evaluation on Don Gray.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Good afternoon again, Toastmasters and Gavaliers. Today, our speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Donald Gray, gave us an excellent presentation. The title of his speech was, "Can I Evaluate You?" And it was very interesting how he wove that title into the presentation itself. But what was most important to me, well, let me just stick to my resource, because Don gave us something right at the onset. He said, make sure you have in your possession the evaluation guide or the speech guide for the speech or the person that you are about to evaluate. That way you will know clearly what they should be focused on, even if they miss it themselves. So using Don's advice, as you can see, I have 3 sheets in my hand. And here's how my evaluation played out. Here's what you excelled at, Don. Preparation and delivery. You have repeatedly demonstrated excellence in every speech that you have given to us. Today, you laid out a perfect foundation, the evaluation, or as you wove it into it, can I evaluate you? which you covered masterfully. You provided 5 points to use when conducting an evaluation, and they were, we should review the speaker's evaluation guide or form, and then we are to place ourselves as best as we can in their shoes. And then we are to encourage them and evaluate the speech, not necessarily the person, I think how you put it, or maybe I got it just backwards, and to motivate and inspire with our words as we evaluate. Now, here's what I think you might need to work on. Though you were clear, you had vocal variety and excellent eye contact, even your gestures. I think from a hearing standpoint, you were slightly monotone, yet you had very smooth transition into the speaker's aid, the form that you showed on screen. You did that very smoothly. I didn't even realize that my computer was changing. I thought my computer was about to do something on its own, right? I didn't realize you were about to change the slide. Now, you challenge yourself. As I started off by saying, you have consistently demonstrated excellence in preparation and delivery. You do that so well. It is hard for me to say, done. Here's something to challenge yourself on. So the only thing I would say is reach out to me after, give me an hour or two, because since this session is being recorded, I will try to cut out or edit out only your speech so that you can hear it and see it, and then you'll see, oh, I hear what he means by I'm slightly monotone. Even though you use vocal variety, you came up a little bit louder and a little bit lower, but it was slightly monotone. That's my evaluation. I hope I didn't go over my time. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Horace, for the evaluation. And now I would like to call upon Xavier Taylor for the timers report.
Thank you. First up, we had our first speech, Emily, and that was 3 minutes and 53 seconds. Just under before the 6-minute time. Second, we had our second speech, Mr. Don Gray, from 6 to 8 minutes. He made 6 minutes and 39 seconds. On our table topics, I went up first with 1 minute, 24 seconds. Then it was Tony Britnum with 1 minute, 26 seconds. Mr. Eric Treat with 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Miss Anna with 1 minute and 50 seconds. Matthew with 1 minute, 22 seconds. Mr. Horace Taylor with 2 minutes, 14 seconds. Mr. Tim Jean with 1 minute and 10 seconds. And Mr. Don Gray with 57 seconds. For our evaluations, we had the evaluation from Mr. Tony Britnum with 4 minutes and 49 seconds. And then Mr. Horace Taylor for Don Gray, 3 minutes and 48 seconds. That is all of our times. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Xavier. And now I would like to call on Anna Zhang for our grammarian report.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I think everybody, most of us did a wonderful job in the word use and avoiding the filler words. But let me still go through the list in detail. Emily, this is your icebreaker. So we see the good speaking skills and we see some of the not so good habits. You have 3 like, you have 4 are, but overall, great. I really enjoyed your speech talking about your own challenges. Don Gray, you had 2 repeat, but other than that, everything else is smooth. Anson used the word of the day, and I use the word of the day. Tony, in your table topic speech, you're excellent person. So was Eric. I had 2 R's. Matthew, you had and is your go-to word. When you start a new sentence, you like to add and at the beginning. So keep that in mind and avoid that. Try to avoid that. Or is your perfect. Tim, you had 2 R's. John Gray, you had your perfect in your table topics. Evaluation speeches, Tony and Horace, your perfect, no filler words and whatsoever. But I have to say the word of the day is still not being used as much as we want. So that word, abdurate, is a little difficult, but I think it is still an opportunity to learn. Let's still learn some difficult word. Yeah, that's the whole point of the word of the day, right? Thank you very much. And back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Anna. Now I would like to give my general evaluation of the entire meeting. This meeting started on time. We first heard from Emily and we heard from her struggle with eczema, and later we heard from Don Gray about how to form an evaluation. Then we shifted toward our table topics session. Although we didn't have Keisha Dancy, we still had a joint table topic session in a way. And also then we shifted toward the evaluations, and both of the evaluations were on point. Overall, this meeting was very good and we learned a lot. Now I would like to pass it to Michael Liu, our Toastmaster.
Thank you for that evaluation session, Matthew. We had a great meeting today, so since Peter's not here, I could do the roles for next week.